Israel does not have the world's biggest army, but it is the most effective. Think about it, we are talking about a country with less than 9 million inhabitants. Nonetheless, they have won wars against countries 10 times bigger. For example, during the 6 Days War, Israel confronted a coalition that included Egypt, Syria, and Jordan. All of these countries put together summed up to more than 130 million people, and they sent over 240,000 soldiers, twice as many as the Israeli army did. In other words, no one would expect a victory for Israel, but history was rather different. In just 6 days, the Israeli Defense Forces, also known as IDF, wiped out their enemies. And yes, I know what you're going to say now. The Israelis have the best technology and weaponry, right? Well, that is true now, but it wasn't back then. For instance, in 1973, during the Yom Kippur War, Israel's weapons were as modern as those of their main rival, Syria. In fact, the IDF had some combat jets manufactured in the 1950s, the famous A4 Skyhawk. However, the Syrians, they had state-of-the-art anti-aircraft missiles. They were given to the Soviets just 5 years before, and who won that war? Yeah, it was Israel. Alright, so I can hear some of you saying now, oh come on Simon, but Israel has the support of America. That's a really big help. And yes, at this point you are right. Israel is the country that receives the most help from Uncle Sam. But do you know of any other country who buys the best weaponry from America? Well, that would be Saudi Arabia. The Saudis have an army as big and as modern as the Israeli one. But if you've been subscribed to Visual Politic for a while, you already know that the big failure of the Saudi army was fighting guerrilla warriors, namely those Houthi rebels from Yemen. In other words, neither the technology nor the American support are enough to explain why the Israeli army is such a fearful one. So, the question of the day is, why is the Israeli army so powerful? What are the key elements explaining such military